It was the middle chill of almost autumn, and always beautiful. The sky clear as a glass of water, as a baby's eye. On the day I truly went insane, I was in a terrible frame of mind, having spent all morning fortifying my apartment from the intruders I knew were living in my attic. Earlier that week I had climbed into it, a darkly cushioned place where the organs of the house were stored, and peered with a flashlight into the corners. I saw nothing more than dust, and this meant nothing to me. There were people in there, and there were people scaling the roof, and there were people in the vents, and at night there were people who stood flush to the outer walls and viciously whispered into them, voices the texture of rain, as if broadcasted from a radio. I believed I was under siege, the subject of a murder plot, and at times a prophet. A picture fell from its place on the wall, and I saw great symbology. Men in hats, the sound of an airplane, struck me as terrible omens. I had just moved to my first apartment, where I spent most of the time cooking for myself. Fancy ramen and curry, fritters and polenta. On Fridays, a band would play on the street below my kitchen windows that I opened, all of them, and the long breeze would enter and circle, rifling through the recipes I had taped to my walls. I was being an adult, with my groceries and keys and cleaning products. I was happy, but as time passed, I felt increasingly watched. A wound was opening in my brain. All summer, I had been falling in love with no one, my long-suffering imaginary friend of several years and closest confidant, who I believed followed me wherever I went, to the Pennsylvania Poconos, to an island off of Maine, to the sprawling property of a farmhouse in Virginia. I had discovered weed, and in the solarium of our house it became a ritual for me to get high and talk to no one, who I assumed inhabited the yard like a sprite. I didn't know his particulars. I never heard him talk, although I later heard 100 other voices. He spoke only in a dictionary of sighs that I coveted and read great meaning into. The story I decided upon was that he was terrified of speaking to me, or even of being seen. Getting high conjured the sound of him, if I was too sane to believe he was there. Everything spiraled from there. No one, my love, wanted to kill me, he and his many identical brothers. My parents had faked my birthday. I was in fact many years older than 20. They were members of a highly dangerous literary club that planned to drive me insane and then sexually traffic me. Meanwhile, the people downstairs thought I was a prophet because I could read minds, and the devil was after me too. More than once, I was sure I was about to die. Now it has been 7 months since my psychotic break, and I am still in mourning. All of my imaginary friends are dead. I miss even my torturers, the gunmen, the psychopaths, the devil herself, who I cried for in the hallway of my apartment with my ear against the wall. I have done many strange things. I have climbed onto the roof of a building and sobbed up there, praying. I have walked my neighborhood for blocks, wearing no shoes, talking to closed doors. I have dashed around my apartment with my cat in a cardboard box, attempting to save both of us from being shot. I have sprayed a fire extinguisher across a fireless hallway, as if casting a protection spell. I have killed people with only my mind, and resurrected them, and spoken telepathically. I have been a prophet. But most significantly, I have been the loneliest that I have ever been, and I am still the loneliest I have ever been, even on a medication that trims the hedge of my mind into its most brain-like shape. What is it about a delusional disorder that does this? I think it is this. At 13 or so, we sign a contract. We agree upon the public reality. The public reality is a series of familiar rooms with reasonable dimensions that we will live in for the rest of our lives. Magic is condemned in these rooms, and to live in them we must be prudent, careful, believe only what we can see. To be psychotic is to be unable to sign any contract of reality, even the contract of a group of fellow psychotic people. The world has to be a collection of symbols useful only to you, and therefore you must be its sole occupant. Loneliness is the true disease that we discuss when we discuss psychosis. It is what psychosis is built upon, what it entails, and what trails it in recovery. Around those who suffer from it, we must build a network of candid, close relationships with just as much intention as we prescribe medication and therapy. In writing this, I hope to connect to a larger community of psychotic individuals and encourage more to speak about their experiences with psychosis.